Après tout ce que nous avons vu, devrions-nous croire les prétentions des psychiatres selon lesquelles ils sont sur le point de faire une nouvelle percée? Et comme la psychiatrie ne marche pas, quelles options avons-nous? En considérant le panorama de la santé mentale, une question se pose. Comment croire un psychiatre et ses traitements? Même les psychiatres interviewés lors d'un récent congrès de l'Association psychiatrique américaine ont admis qu'ils ne détenaient pas de réponse.
What is the answer to mental illness? That's too broad of a question to answer.
What's the answer to mental illness?
I don't think there are any answers to mental illness.
We still need a better answer than the one we have now for mental illness.
I can't even understand the question.
There's no real answer. You can't. These are like chronic problems. You can't just cure somebody.
Du fait que la psychiatrie ne détient pas de réponse, comment pouvons-nous prendre en charge ceux qui ont de vrais problèmes psychologiques? Il existe en fait de nombreuses réponses, mais vous n'en entendrez jamais parler de la bouche des psychiatres qui prescrivent des psychotropes. Le projet Soteria constituait une solution. Il a été formé en 1971 par le docteur Loren Mosher, qui était alors à la tête du projet de recherche sur la schizophrénie à l'Institut national de la santé mentale.
Loren Mosher developed this program, through NIMH to look at this because they were starting to have in the research a debate about whether the medications were actually being helpful or whether they were actually causing some problems.
They would create a community-based center where people diagnosed with schizophrenia could go. It was going to be non-drug oriented because he didn't believe that psychiatric drugs were the answer to schizophrenia.
It provided a place to where there could be people there who would be supportive and be there during the time they have a crisis. Instead of medicating them, be there with them and help them through it.
Les résultats ont été stupéfiants. Les résidents de Soteria allaient nettement mieux et rechutaient bien moins souvent que les patients qui prenaient des psychotropes. Le succès remporté par Soteria House prouva que la compréhension et la compassion soulageaient la détresse mentale, bien plus qu'un traitement psychiatrique, et ne donnaient évidemment pas lieu à des effets secondaires nocifs. Malgré cela, très tôt, les percées du docteur Mosher ont été rejetées par le milieu psychiatrique, qui dépendait des psychotropes et des fonds pharmaceutiques. Dans sa lettre de démission en 1998, le docteur Mosher écrivait ceci à l'Association psychiatrique américaine. La psychiatrie, dans son ensemble, a été complètement achetée par les compagnies pharmaceutiques. Nous permettons et promouvons l'utilisation générale de substances chimiques toxiques dont nous connaissons les graves effets à long terme. La psychiatrie telle qu'elle est pratiquée aujourd'hui tient-elle de la supercherie? J'ai bien peur que oui.
When people ask me about why aren't there more places to get this type of treatment and why is biopsychiatry kind of taken over, if they were effective, why did they go away? And I really think that it goes back to the question of money.
Entre les pressions politiques exercées par cette institution psychiatrique et le manque de financement, les refuges comme Soteria House sont peu nombreux, mais peuvent être trouvés, et celui qui souffre réellement peut s'en remettre. Mais qu'en est-il des problèmes mentaux ou émotionnels quotidiens, tels que la dépression ou les sautes d'humeur? Sans utiliser de méthode psychiatrique, comment y remédier? C'est plus facile que l'on ne croit généralement. Il existe de nombreuses preuves selon lesquelles plus de la moitié des problèmes psychiatriques sont causés par une condition physique sous-jacente et non détectée.
I would say nearly 100% of the time, when someone comes in wishing to get off of an antidepressant, I find some underlying issues that weren't addressed originally that may have contributed or else caused their mood disorder.
And you start to look at all the different factors in their life, a lot of times you can find that there's multiple different reasons that someone's not feeling well.
Viruses can cause depression. Digestive issues can cause depression and anxiety.
Iron deficiency is very connected to depression.
One of the effects of pesticide poisoning is depression.
Little children, if they get a streptococcal infection, can become obsessive and compulsive.
I've seen people with bipolar disorder manic depression who have food allergies.
Pretty much any kind of psychiatric problem can be associated with a low thyroid state.
A ton of difficulties that a person has that can manifest itself as a supposed mental illness, but you fix the hormone, you fix the gland, you fix the nutrition, miraculously you can also fix the quote-unquote mental illness.
Why a psychiatrist cannot get to the root of a person's problem, that's the million-dollar question. I have absolutely no idea. They could. They learn it in school. They could just as easily run a blood test as I could run a blood test. They could run all the diagnostic tests I can. They study anatomy, physiology, pathophysiology. They just choose on their own to treat symptoms.
Qu'en est-il des autres personnes dont le problème psychologique ne découle pas d'un problème physique sous-jacent?
Divorcing parents, a change in babysitters, moving in the middle of a school year. Those can cause disruptions in the normal flow of sitting in a class and paying attention.
Good things are seen as stressful as bad things. Buying a house can be as stressful as losing a house. Getting married can be as stressful as getting divorced. But it may be some situational anxiety, situational depression that would have resolved on its own years ago. And the patient's been on medicine for years.
Well, it is ridiculous to think that normal depression or grief from normal life circumstances should be treated with medication. We didn't think this way before we had them, because people just took it for granted that life was difficult at times. It was stressful, painful, and, you know, difficult emotions, be they anger, pain, sadness, grief. All these things are normal reactions, and to cover that up with medication is really to turn your back on what makes us human beings, which is our emotions.